welcome to Gierok Farms. In today's video, we are going to be picking some cob corn. It's harvest season here on the dairy farm. It's been about a week since we last picked here. We picked a field right next to the yard here, just a bit of a slow start to picking corn. But right away in the morning here, we got to get everything set up. We got to get the elevator moved over by the cribs, all the tarps set up to catch any corn that falls out, move some of these trailers out of the way. The picker needs to be oiled and greased. The Oliver, we're gonna change the oil on that once we get it warmed up, moving machinery around here. Being that it hasn't started dumping coolant into the oil yet, we're gonna put some new oil in it and run it here for the rest of the fall, keeping an eye on it, see what we got going there. So that's an update on the Oliver, and that's what we got planned to start the video here. Setting up the corn cribs, getting the picker ready, and later today we'll be getting into picking corn. If you guys want to stick around for a while, make sure to subscribe so you see our future videos. Also hit that bell and the notifications will pop up on your phone or your computer or your email, letting you know when we post a video. And we're posting every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday if you want to stay up to date with what we're doing here on the farm. Also hit that like button if you enjoy it. Otherwise, let's get into the video, get things rolling here. We got the Oliver hooked up to that wood trailer that we worked on last winter, and the apron works good. It can unload a load of wood, so that's nice. That's a little update on that. So we gotta get this unhooked. We'll probably end up shoving the wood trailer back in here where the Oliver's sitting. Then we also gotta get the M with the other wood trailer out of the way so that we don't have to mess around with it, work around it today while we're picking. Plenty of oil in it, and it's not looking milky. Our oil pan leaks on it. Didn't quite seal it well enough when we were testing things out there. But we haven't gotten that white milky oil like we did last winter yet. Problem is still there, could arise, but we haven't confirmed it yet in these warmer temperatures. Will be used for any of our shelled corn or corn that lands on the tarp, and then we'll just shovel it right out of here into our grinder mixer. When you're picking cob corn and you're putting it in cribs like that, shelled corn will not stay in there very well. It'll run out the sides or in the bottom. So in our elevator we have a grate in it, and we make sure that's all opened up so any shelled corn going up that elevator will fall through before it gets into the crib. So any shelling that happens after that point just stays in the crib, which is just fine. That's very minimal. But a bulk of the shelled corn we get ends up in here, which we'll grind in the feed sooner than later. That's what this wagon's for. So we kind of place it next to our unloading site here. So then as the day goes on, we can be filling that. That wagon, we're just gonna park out of the way down here somewhere and then get the MTA ready and over by the cribs, because that is gonna be our power unit for running the elevator, and the Oliver is gonna be hauling loads today. That's the plan. If y'all are wondering what the rest of my family is up to, we are all on the farm today, which is exciting. My dad, my youngest brother Owen, and my mother are working on some chores here this morning, cleaning out a barn, cleaning out our heifer barn. Then my brother Mason, he's home today as well, and he got a deer last night. At least he hit a deer last night, bow hunting. He's still trying to track it, so that's what he's working on this morning. So wishing him luck. It sounded like it was a pretty good deer, pretty decent sized buck. So hopefully he's able to find that this morning, but he'll be helping us out this afternoon, which is exciting. We should have plenty of hands here on the farm, and hopefully the equipment holds up and things keep running smooth, being we got all this help here today. Okay, now back in the shop here. Before we move the elevator, we are going to drop the oil in the Oliver. So those of you that have been following the channel know that this 1650 Oliver, we've been having some issues with it lately over the past year here. Last winter we noticed an issue where there was some obvious coolant or water or condensation in the oil and a lot. So we were pretty positive that coolant was getting in there, because our coolant was a little low. It wasn't super obviously like low in the coolant reservoir, but we did add some. So we're thinking coolant was getting in there, but that was when it was super cold out. That was February, March time frame. So we were getting some really cold nights. It was sitting outside, coming in the shop for a little bit. So there was a lot of drastic changes in temperature of the block and just the engine and tractor in general. So it's a strong possibility that we won't see this thing act up until it starts to get really cold again. So we're gonna keep running it here, using it here. And we tried testing it about a month ago now by putting some used oil in it. We just wanted to run it, get it nice and hot, and it looks like our oil stayed pretty clean for considering what we put in there. It was some used oil, but we only put a couple hours on it now and haven't noticed any bigger issues. So we haven't noticed any water getting in the oil yet, so we're gonna put some new oil in it and keep running it here this fall, and keep a close eye on it, so that if we are doing an engine rebuild, it's gonna happen here this winter. And I gotta look and see if we got a filter for it. Dad was saying don't even bother with it, but if we got one, they're cheap enough, I'm gonna put one on it. But if we don't have one, it's not the end of the world either. Looks like we got one, so it's getting one. If we're going through the effort to put some new oil in it, she's gonna get a filter too. They don't cost that much yet. Some of them do, but not this one. Looking good on the dipstick. I'm gonna fire it up, let it suck some up into the filter, and then we'll have it sit here. Then we'll start working on the 686 and the picker here, start greasing things up. Never help, we're gonna set up the conveyor right away. It'd be easier with more people anyways. Watch it. Don't just miss this. Go any higher. Walking over to the cribs before we get too far into this, I wanted to let you guys know that if you don't know already, we are now selling our hats online. We are selling our Gierok Farm hats on GierokFarms.com. We have them in multiple different colors for you guys to choose from. We have them in a red, a blue, a green, a black, and a white. So plenty of options. Christmas is right around the corner, so get yourself a Gierok Farms hat. We would greatly appreciate it. If you wanted to support us more than you already do by watching the videos, go get yourself a Gierok Farms hat at GierokFarms.com. I'll throw that on the screen and down in the description. They're great, high quality hats. We've been wearing them in the videos for over a year now. They're good for work and for play. Going out on the town, sitting in the tractor, no matter what you're doing, they're a good hat for that. They're super adjustable. They're great for big heads like mine and small heads. They're great for men, women. Go check out GierokFarms.com. Get yourself a Gierok Farms hat. All the tarps laid out around it to help catch all the cobs or shell corn that fall out. Dad right now, he's getting the picker ready. He's gonna grease it and oil the chains. I'm taking the Oliver to grab our wagons, so those are out here and ready to go. So before you know it, we'll be in the fields picking. Fertilizer tenders still tucked away here, rusting away slowly. Haven't used it yet, but you never know, we might get desperate enough where we'd have to use that for something. But it's there in case we need it. That auger is probably worth more than the box. And probably the running gear. Looks like there's still some corn on this wagon from when they were filling the first crib, so we're gonna unload that quick Then we'll head down there and switch wagons out with the picker.
The door was closed yet. Totally forgot that they could have ended with a wagon that was partially full, being they just finished off a crib. Owen and my mom are gonna start feeding up in the barn. So that's out of the way for tonight. So then hopefully we can just keep going and have a big day of picking. As the guy moving gravity wagons on any type of grain harvest, it is very important to make sure that you are closing the gate. If you were hauling a hopper bottom or something, making sure you close the door on whatever type of wagon or trailer you are using is crucial as the guy moving wagons or trailers. That's something in my youth I have learned the hard way from, and we don't want that to happen today. So I'm telling you guys about it to make a mental note that I don't slip up and let that happen. Hopefully nobody else today slips up and lets that happen, because you'll be going down the field and all the corn's just shooting right out the side as it's going in. Close your doors, kids. He's already got 4 rows off and is working on number 6. Once you get things rolling with this, you can really move. I know we talked about it in prior videos. When it comes to picking versus combine, there definitely is some more field loss, more shelling out and onto the ground. You know, that equals a lot of bushels over a large amount of acres. But if you look at the cost of our equipment, this is still a very cheap and economical way to do it. Obviously on a large scale, it would make a lot less sense, but on a farm our size, this is still a very good option for a nice dry grain feed source to do it this way. If you had to start from scratch, I think a combine would make more sense, but being we're already set up for all this with the cribs, conveyors, tractors that fit these pickers, things like that, it makes a lot of sense for our operation, even though we do lose a little more than a combine would in the field. I gotta say though, compared to prior years, when it comes to picking, I think we're losing a lot less when it's picking it off the actual stalk. Like in prior years, I feel like I've seen more whole cobs randomly throughout the field, whereas it's popping it off that stalk, it's falling out the side, slipping through or something somehow. But I feel like this year it's feeding in real nice, so that tells me that we have some really good attachment to our stalk yet. The machine's able to work well when it comes to ripping the cob off the actual stalk. So that's a plus I'm seeing this year versus years prior. I'm not seeing as many whole cobs in the field. So loads in the crib, first full load anyways. You see, when I was done loading there, I was picking cobs off the ground. That's another thing as the guy unloading these wagons. You can't unload too fast because otherwise it overloads the conveyor and you lose some off the sides right as it goes from the drag part of the conveyor to the incline part. You seem to lose a bunch of cobs if you feed it too fast. It just flows over the top. So in order to prevent having to pick cobs off the ground all the time, you got to find that sweet spot where you're moving fast enough so you're efficient, yet not too fast where you're losing time having to pick up cobs every time. It's a balancing act. That's another thing is the guy running back and forth. I'm sure by the end of the day we'll develop a good list on how to be a great gravity wagon operator. I'm sure all those grain cart operators and truck drivers can relate. Probably a very similar job. Looks like we got down here in time, which is great. He was on his last pass here. He'll probably end up doing the same thing he did last time in order to make it to the end. Okay, we are about to put load number 2 up into the crib, but in case this video is getting kind of long, I wanted to end it off here. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for sticking to the end of day number 2 of picking corn for the 2023 harvest season. This will be part number 1. Make sure to stay on the lookout for part number 2. And remember, if you guys want to get yourself one of these hats, go check us out at GierokFarms.com. That's Gierok Farms.com. All lowercase. I'll have it in the description and on the screen here as well. Go check us out if you want a hat at GierokFarms.com. Thank you all for the support. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.